Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mystic Journeys with HB, Derek, and Nerdy.
What's
How are
up,
you
guys?
boys?
Happy Monday.
Yeah, I didn't get to see your shirt, Derek. Is that the champion shirt?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
cool.
awesome. Way to represent.
You have the same one, don't you, Nerdy? Am I wrong
Yeah,
about that?
yeah. Yeah, I made that
Yeah,
for
yeah.
him.
Oh, okay, sweet. All right, cool. Yeah, I get it now. Let's see what's going
Yeah.
on. Cool. Cheers. We're gonna skip the Way to Love. We're gonna come back to that next week.
Yeah.
Nerdy wanted to do a little bit of reading from the Egyptian Book of the Dead, which I think is really super cool. If you guys aren't familiar, you're gonna learn a little bit about it today. We're gonna get our toes wet with it, and then if you guys like it, we'll keep going along with it. Yeah, I think that's it. You guys got anything?
Yeah, let's
Go ahead.
say good morning to everybody new in the chat, or good evening. I mean, good evening, Mike Barball, and how's it going, David? It's good to see you,
Cheers, guys. Nice to be back, you guys.
and it's good to see you too, both of you guys too.
We had a great, yeah, we had a great little foraging trip over the weekend. We didn't find a ton of mushrooms, I would say, but we found a lot of mushrooms, and it was really fun. The raining here in Colorado has been kind of messing us up a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say we found a lot of mushrooms, just not a lot of diversity.
I would agree with that. It was really cool though. Get out there, and it was my first really group foraging trip, so it's nice to learn like what you're looking for, how to look for it when you do, how to document it. Right? Yeah, super cool.
But yeah, so I was at Five Below the other day, and I was thinking about HB and how much he likes Egypt, and I saw this book,
Cool.
the Egyptian Book of the Dead, and I was like, heck yes, I should get this book.
Right up
And
my alley.
I've really been enjoying it, and as you can see, I've been highlighting the crap out of this thing.
Very cool.
But especially
Well,
the
I think
part about like weighing your heart and stuff. I love that stuff. Like when
Yes, sir. There's a lot in here about our ancient past and our history that we can learn, just like in the book of the Bible, just like in the book of Taoism, just like in the philosophies of Aristotle and Plato, and on and on and on. So it's really cool. It's always something in there that you can take and learn and really try to gain insight. It's nice. Cheers, cheers, cheers.
So I think in order just to get started and just to set the tone for what is the Book of the Dead, I can explain a little bit by reading a little bit from my book, and then play this little video here I have. It's like 8 minutes and 35 seconds. I checked in advance. It is Creative Commons on YouTube. So I downloaded it, and I pulled out the sections that I liked.
Love it.
So it's 8 minutes, and we'll get away with it. I know for a fact. But what is the Book of the Dead? The Book of the Dead, it basically started out as the writings on and inscriptions on the inside of Pharaoh's tombs. It's like a way for them to, it was like instructions for them in the afterlife for them to actually start hanging out with Osiris and what was the other god? And Ra again. But so originally it was exclusively for pharaohs and kings, and then eventually they started changing it to where like high priests and high ranked people within society would they would have it inside their coffins, or they'd have it inscribed in their coffins. And then eventually when the coffins started becoming like the shape of people, they started putting it on scrolls, and that's when they started calling it the Book of the Dead. But each individual person, like, it was kind of customized for them, because they would have to have an individual person make theirs, because it would have their name and it would be describing their journey in the afterlife. So the part when it comes to like weighing your heart, it's called let's see here, the negative confession or declaration of innocence. And I thought that part was really, really interesting, because there's a lot of overlap with the 10 Commandments. Like
Nice.
you shouldn't kill, and
Treat people the way you want to be treated. Yes, sir.
don't be adulterous. A couple times. It mentions it several times. But that section, it's always 42.
Okay.
Wazi's favorite number, by the way. It's also the answer to the Secrets of the Universe, for those of you that know Douglas Adams. But I think that that's just really, really cool. And let's play this video clip a little bit just so that you guys can understand a little bit more before I go a little bit deeper into what I think about some of this stuff.
I like it. Let's do it.
I'll go ahead and play this clip.
Tonight we're exploring one of history's most elaborate and fascinating belief systems. How ancient Egyptians prepared for, experienced, and survived death itself. Because for them, death wasn't an ending. It was a dangerous journey through the underworld that required preparation, knowledge, and more than a little divine favor. When most people think about ancient Egypt, they picture pyramids, mummies, and golden burial masks. But beneath all that spectacle was something far more profound, a civilization that spent enormous resources, time, and intellectual energy solving one fundamental problem: how to survive after you stop breathing. The ancient Egyptians didn't fear death the way many cultures did. They feared the journey that followed it. Death was merely a transition, a doorway into a realm as real and complex as the living world. But this realm, called the Duat, was filled with dangers that could destroy your soul permanently if you weren't prepared. Let's start with what Egyptians believed happened the moment you died. Your physical body stopped functioning, obviously, but you, the essential you, fragmented into several spiritual components. The most important were the Ka, your life force, and the Ba, your personality and individual essence. These parts needed to be reunited with your body for you to continue existing in the afterlife. This is why mummification mattered so desperately. It wasn't about preserving a corpse for sentimental reasons. It was about maintaining a physical anchor for your spiritual self. Without an intact body, your Ka and Ba had nowhere to return. You would simply cease to exist, dissolved into nothingness. For Egyptians, this
Essentially,
permanent
it's your
erasure
soul,
was the true
your
terror,
essence.
not death, but eternal oblivion. The mummification process was elaborate, expensive, and deeply ritualistic. It took 70 days to complete properly. The body was washed, internal organs removed and preserved separately in canopic jars, and the corpse dried with natron salt. What remained was wrapped in linen with protective amulets placed between the layers. Each step was accompanied by prayers and spells designed to protect the deceased during their journey. But even a perfectly preserved mummy wasn't enough. You needed equipment for the journey ahead. The tomb became a carefully stocked survival kit for the afterlife. Food, drink, clothing, furniture, tools, weapons, and even servants in the form of Shapti figures, small statues that would magically come to life to work on your behalf in the underworld. Wealthy Egyptians filled their tombs with staggering amounts of goods. Pharaohs were buried with entire treasuries. But even ordinary people scraped together what they could, because arriving in the afterlife unprepared meant facing challenges with no resources. Better to be buried with a few loaves of bread than to starve eternally. Now, let's talk about the journey itself. The Duat was not a peaceful place. It was a dark, twisting netherworld filled with hostile demons, lakes of fire, rivers that flowed backward, and gates guarded by creatures with knives for hands and heads of serpents. Navigating this realm required knowledge, specific knowledge of spells, passwords, and
No wonder they
secret
got
names.
robbed.
This is where the Book of the Dead comes in. Despite its ominous title, it wasn't a single book. It was a collection of spells, instructions, and maps designed to guide the deceased through the underworld safely. Wealthy families commissioned personalized copies written on papyrus and placed them in the tomb. The text told you how to appease guardians, cross dangerous waters, and defend yourself against demons who wanted to devour your soul. Some spells transformed you into powerful beings, a falcon, a lotus flower, or even a god, to escape danger. Others gave you the words to speak at crucial moments. Imagine standing before a gate in the underworld, and a terrifying guardian blocks your path, demanding the secret name of the doorpost. If you knew the answer, you passed. If you didn't, you were destroyed. The journey culminated in the most critical moment, the weighing of the heart ceremony. This took place in the Hall of Two Truths, where the god Osiris sat in judgment, surrounded by 42 divine assessors. Your heart, considered the seat of your emotions and moral character, was placed on a scale. On the other side sat the feather of Ma'at, representing truth, justice, and cosmic order. If your heart was lighter than the feather, meaning you had lived a just and truthful life, you passed. You were welcomed into the field of reeds, a paradise that mirrored the best parts of Egypt, fertile land, abundant harvests, and eternal peace.
But if your heart was heavy with wrongdoing, it tipped the scale.
The random
And
voice
then
thing.
came Ammit, the devourer, a creature with the head of a crocodile, the body of a lion, and the hindquarters of a hippopotamus. She waited beside the scale, and if you failed, she consumed your heart entirely. You were erased from existence. No afterlife, no second chances, gone. What's fascinating is that Egyptians didn't view this judgment as arbitrary divine whim. It was cosmic law, as inevitable as the sun rising.
Yep.
Ma'at
why
was
you
the
can't hide.
principle holding reality together.
Everything we do is weighed at the
Living
end
in
of our life.
alignment with Ma'at meant
Gotta be
speaking
balanced.
truth, acting justly, and maintaining balance. The judgment simply revealed whether you had done so. To help ensure a favorable outcome,
Yin Yang
Egyptians
talks about
included
this.
a negative
Buddhism talks
confession
about this.
in their
Hinduism
Book of the
talks about
Dead,
this.
a
All these
list
different
of
cultures.
sins they swore they hadn't committed. I have not killed. I have not stolen. I have not caused pain. Whether this was honest accounting or strategic self-presentation remains debatable, but it shows how seriously they took moral responsibility. The gods played essential roles in this journey. Anubis, the jackal-headed god of embalming, guided souls through the duat and oversaw the weighing ceremony. Thoth, the ibis-headed god of wisdom and writing, recorded the results. Osiris, who had himself died and been resurrected, ruled the underworld and granted access to the afterlife. These weren't distant, abstract deities. They were active participants in your survival.
I got it.
Egyptians also
Thank you.
believed the living
Oh,
could
I
help
got
the
it.
dead. Offerings of food, drink, and incense at tombs weren't just symbolic gestures. They believed these items magically sustained the deceased in the afterlife. Families visited tombs regularly, recited prayers, and performed rituals to ensure their ancestors remained nourished and remembered. Neglecting the dead was dangerous, not just for the deceased, but potentially for the living as well, since unhappy spirits could cause trouble. This interdependence between the living and the dead created a continuous cultural cycle. The afterlife wasn't a separate realm you disappeared into. It remained connected to the world of the living. Tomb walls were painted with scenes of daily life, not out of nostalgia, but because these images magically allowed the deceased to continue experiencing those activities. Social status profoundly affected your afterlife prospects. Pharaohs received elaborate tombs, vast quantities of burial goods, and extensive magical texts. Common people received far less. Some were buried in simple graves with minimal provisions. This inequality extended beyond death, suggesting that Egyptian society accepted hierarchical differences as part of cosmic order. Yet even within this stratification, ordinary people found ways to prepare. They saved for years to afford basic mummification. They commissioned modest tomb decorations. They memorized key spells. The democratization of afterlife beliefs, where eventually even non-royals could access the same spells and protections, shows
Yep.
that these ideas were deeply important across all levels of society.
100%. It's the story of our history, our past history for sure.
But yeah, the weighing of the heart ceremony, I think, is the most significant part because
definitely.
the most famous Book of the Dead that we have was from a specific person, and it's like the
Mhm.
longest one that's ever been found, and it was for let's see here, I have it marked. The papyrus. It was called the Papyrus of Ani, and it was from around 1275 BC. And Ani was the overseer of the double granary of the Lord of the Tower, and his wife Thuthu, and he was the cantoress of the temple of Amun. So he was a holy guy, and he's like a priest.
Wow. And he's the one with the longest scroll.
It's 77 feet long.
Neat.
And so
Had to
whenever
be a
people
really nice
talk
guy.
about the Book of the Dead, like this book right here, it's pretty much talking about this specific guy's texts. So when they're going through his 42 declarations of innocence, this is his specifically that was commissioned for him. And the 42 is kind of like it's generally the same for everybody, but for sometimes they would actually change it up for somebody. Like let's say you were let's
Cut.
see, like
Like a Ferris.
right, like let's say you were like a king or a judge or like a captain, like somebody in charge of an army. Like one of them, like the 15th, I think was supposed to be, I have not commanded to kill. A lot of times they will change that to I have been contentious in affairs or something like that. Because like, it's part of their daily job that sometimes with the things they would do would, like, hey, the judge said like, okay, well, you're guilty. So
Yeah.
maybe you were commanded to be killed. So
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting that it's like a customized 10 commandments for each individual person, but almost everybody's following the same format. And there's always 42 because there were 42 different regions in Egypt, and you're basically talking. You're approaching one of 42 of each of these judges when you're being weighed when they're weighing your heart. So you're actually calling out like each time you're actually like calling them by name, and you're like, I didn't do this thing, and then the next one's like, I didn't do this thing, and there's actually a lot of repeats too. So it made me wonder. It made me start thinking about like what would if I
Judge
were
Shay.
looking at this list, which ones would have changed for me, and
Okay.
if I were to write my own 42, what would my 42 be?
Yeah.
So if I were writing in my journey journal, I think it'd be kind of cool to come up with like a list of 42, like maybe base it off of this list even. But I think the first 6 would probably be the agreements, and then for you Christians like you, Derek, I would think that the 10 Commandments would be in there. And for
Yeah.
the Mormons, like I grew up, they'd probably have like the 13 Articles of Faith and some of those other things from the Book of Mormon. But yeah, I think it's a really cool thing. It's kind of like, how do I want to be judged?
Yeah, exactly. It's a very holistic way to look at it. It also speaks that no one can judge us but quote unquote God or the divine, things that are way above our power. Humans cannot judge other human beings. And it's exactly that. Whenever you're there in that moment of what are the things that I've done that I regret, that I have to pay for, that when my human mind could be like, okay, this is how it is. This is how I am. When you meet your judge, how do you feel then when you stepped outside of your human perspective? Very neat.
Yeah.
I like that part, but a lot of it sounds like a real pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I have bread, I have this, and I have that. Where when we enter the world, we enter with nothing, and when we leave, we're going to leave with nothing. I mean, it would be really burdensome if every time someone passed, and you're like, "Let me get all this shit together."
Yeah. And
Like
hey,
with the funeral or cremation, whatever, like that, a memorial
100%.
is difficult enough. But if you're worried about them providing for them after they're gone, is like, really?
And maybe
Yeah.
to them it was more of like a literal thing, like they thought they were literally going to bring these things with them to the afterlife. But to me, I like to look at it as more of a spiritual thing. It's like the way of doing the mandala art, that nothing lasts forever. You do the art and then you sweep it away. So just what your same point is about how we don't get to keep this stuff anyway. Nothing's ours. Everything we have is borrowed. I think that if we take it with us, no one else gets it. It's ours. It's the things that we take with us, but they're of no use, right? They're of no monetary value once they're put in the ground and buried with us. So I think it's really like a more of a symbolical thing the way that I look at it.
But as in the comments, someone said, that's why they get robbed, right? So I mean,
Yeah,
really,
I like that. That's funny. That's hilarious. But that's their karma. If you steal something from someone, that's your judgment that you have to live with at the end of your life. And what were you doing taking this stuff out of these people's graves whenever you meet your God, you meet your maker? Why were you doing that? And then you're going to be put on the scale. Your scale is going to drop down on one side for sure. One side or the other.
Number 40 of Ani's list is I have not plundered the offerings to the blessed dead. And there's like that's right there at the end without like, not slaughtering with the evil intent of the cattle of God, and also like not disrespecting God and not being blasphemous and things like that.
Yeah.
There's just a lot, they just add more to the Ten Commandments in a way.
100%.
But like it seems like all of the Ten Commandments are pretty much here, but there's just 42 of them. And also, what they think is they most Christians do is that they are going to hang out with God, and in the afterlife, but they also believe that God might be giving them tasks and chores and things to do, like tend to these gardens over here, fella. So they have this away. There are these spells that they have in their Book of the Dead. It helps them in the afterlife for that kind of things too, and also like there's these little statues they could buy, and those statues would come to life with the right. If you had the right spell in your Book of the Dead, these statues that you have buried with you, they will come to life and they will do all those chores for you. So you can just hang back and chill in the hammock. So if you could afford it, you could have a pretty nice afterlife, not doing those chores and stuff for Osiris and those previous pharaohs. But also I keep forgetting what I was about to say about the weighing ceremony. There's another spell for the weighing ceremony. So like, let's say you're not very good at actually keeping to these laws. There's a spell to where you will prevent your heart from speaking out against you, and they're, giving you up and like, judging you and telling the truth against these judges and stuff. So it seems like almost that some of these things might even be like a confession saying like, hey, I was actually a really good person. I didn't actually sleep with that guy's wife over there. But maybe they did, but maybe it's like a confession thing for like, hey, trying to clean themselves of their sins in a way. But they're not sure. We're still interpreting a lot of this stuff. But I don't know. I don't really have much more to say about the Book of the Dead. Do you have anything else you want to talk about the Book of the Dead, HB or Derek? You don't. I know you don't know much about it, but
no, when you mentioned you were gonna read that, I googled it and I seen you can buy that book at Five Below.
Yeah, yep. You know me.
A little briefing. So I don't really have an opinion on it, so I'm curious to listen and learn.
But that's the piece that I highlighted the most out of. Was like I would actually encourage any of you that's watching to go ahead and make your own list of 42. Maybe start with the 10 Commandments or the agreements.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of spells and magic in it, but it has a lot to do with spirituality and about thinking about your final moments of your death and like Nerdy said, creating it to be what you want it to be. What do you want your afterlife to look like, and what do you want to talk to God about, and what do you think He's going to say to you about the life that you lived? It's really interesting.
Honestly, my list would be very, very close to what's in book in Ani's book. I'm not much of an eavesdropper. I try not to talk too much. And there's a lot of interesting things in here. I try not to hurt people's feelings. I try not to cause terror.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And all that lines up with the agreements as well too.
Yeah.
But I never really thought about writing my own lists per se. But whenever I think about this and I listen to people's lists, and I'm because watching Egyptian videos and stuff like that, it'll pop up here and there periodically. It's like you think, well, I wouldn't have that on my list, or maybe I would have that on my list for sure. And then you start to, I guess you're subconsciously curating it in your head. But I think it's something that's awareness. To be aware,
they would be a lot. These lists would be a lot like Nerdy. If you made a list and then your wife made a list and then you guys swap lists, there's probably things that like, oh no, and you might change on each list. So the list would be how we see ourselves, how other people see us.
Exactly.
I like that. I would like other people to help me add stuff to my list, as they see my flaws more than me. Like, here's the things that I need to work on. Let's put it on the list, and like, let's work on it.
Oh, you're welcome, Ray. Enjoy. If you need anything else, please reach out.
Awesome.
We're all
Glad you
about
got that, Ray.
trying to give and help. That's what it's all about. We could care less about your money.
Yep.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. I still have a lot more. I kind of skipped around my Book of the Dead, so I'm not sure if I'll have more to talk about next week or not. We might end up going back to the Way to Love, but I really, really like this. So maybe we can make some of our own lists and we can talk about them next week. Or
That would be really cool. I like it, dude.
that's something I can take the sacrament and meditate on.
Yeah. I like that idea, actually. It's really cool. Just recently picked up some DMT, so maybe that'll be something I could do with that.
So for those of you that are listening, it's called the Negative Confession or the Declaration of Innocence in the Egyptian Book of the Dead. But the 42 divine judges, there's 42 because there's like 42 governing regions within Egypt. It's nothing to do with Douglas Adams or rats trying to restart the universe.
To me, it gives you a
Hitchhiker's
chance.
Guide to the Galaxy. Anyway.
Right, exactly right. The movie, the answer's 42 at the end of the movie. Yeah. But yeah, I think it gives you a chance for redemption and explanation of your acts, of why you did what you did. And if you really did act inappropriately, like if you stole, you have to explain, why did you steal? My kids were starving. They were going to die if I didn't. It was only out of trying to do the right thing and out of kindness, right? So that's a little bit of a different story than if you're a thief stealing from people. And also, it's like the idea of
wouldn't weigh down your heart, right?
Yes, and if you killed someone, and we talk about this a lot with the Book of the Five Rings and the Bhagavad Gita, the act of killing someone is not an evil act. Doing it with evil intentions is the evil act behind it. If we act on things, no matter what it is, whether it's birth or death with our karma yoga and acting in the divine, then we get that reward back in our afterlife. Essentially, you've done everything that you could do. And yeah, you killed people, but you never had no malice or hate towards these people that you killed. And it wasn't you going out of your way to murder people. That's the difference. And it's the same thing with stealing, right? Do I think people should steal? And have there been moments where I've been really starving and wanting to steal, but didn't steal? Of course. But that's going to add to my scale later on in my life. And if people have to steal, they're going to have a good reason of why they did these things. Why you acted this way with this person negatively. Why is this? Do you have an explanation or an excuse for that? And if you don't, it goes on the negative side of the scale.
Some of the more interesting ones I thought were good was like not wasting food, and
right.
like not fouling the water of your neighbor, and things like that. It's very, very like societal beneficial things. Like these 42 things that's in this book. I'm like, if you follow them, you basically become like a Zen monk.
Yeah, I like to look at it that way too, nerdy. And and I'm sure people here in the chat know just as well as all three of us here know, religion can be so dogmatic sometimes. It can be my way or the highway. And if you don't want to do this, then you're not coming into my house, that kind of thing. What this allows you to do is, hey man, look, I heard that you killed someone, but I want to let you in my house, but I also want to know why you killed someone. Like we could talk about this. So instead of it's not no expectations, no exceptions. It's, hey man, let me hear your story. Let me see if there's more to this than meets the eye. So our fifth agreement: be skeptical, learning to listen. And yeah, it allows you. So one thing, it allows you to curate your list the way you want it. But if you get there and your list isn't good, you're the one who's going to have to pay for that list.
You still have to answer to those specific judges too.
Yeah, 100%. And why you made them. And I think sharing a list is a great idea, Derek. To your point, like that can help you curate it really well. Having friends and family members to be like, hey, you have this defect that you're not really noticing, and I think you should add this to your list.
Give it a tune-up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. That's what we should be doing in our life anyway.
And keep updating it maybe until you really perfect it. I'm like, yes, this is the one. This is the list. This is how I'm going to live my life.
This is how I want to die. It's a will and testament. Right. Essentially, it's the same exact thing that people do with their will and testament. What are the things that they want to do with the things that they have, the things that they left behind or will leave behind in their life, and what's the legacy that they want to portray to people? And this is why you have to live every single day like it's your last day, because what you're doing is living in the present to create the future. I talked about this on the show, and I'm not ashamed to admit this. I had a really intense psychedelic experience whenever I was younger that really shifted my perspective on being older, and that if you live a certain way, you're going to end up old and alone because of the way that you treated people. It's funny. I was just reading this before the show about Carl Jung's idea that the more that you know about the world, the more enlightened and open that you become to it, the more isolated you can become because you're so aware of people's negative intentions and people's malices, and that most people are that way. But he also explains that if it doesn't destroy you, it could be the thing that can turn you into something totally different. These are the people that Diogenes that we were talking about and telling Alexander the Great to fuck off, or, people like Plato or Aristotle with these crazy, unique ideas. These are how these people came to that point, right? It's like they're mad. They're madmen, Albert Einstein and Nikola Tesla, but they see the world for what it really is from a broader perspective than most of us could ever look at.
I think a lot of
For
people
what's
end
awesome.
up being like older
Go
and
ahead.
alone because they're protecting their peace. They've had a lot of experience with people being buttheads, and they're just like, yeah, I could gather with them, but it's not going to be good for me. And I'd rather chill at home with my dogs than have
I'm
a
guilty of
group.
that, Derek.
I don't agree with how they behave and how they treat other people. So I can control myself, but not have a large circle of people that I hang out with because I don't want to have that same character.
Negativity spread off on you. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Velcro effect we talked about, where you're picking up on their negative vibes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that what I always say is true, Derek. And I try to think about this because I can relate to that so much. I really feel that a lot. I'm guilty of that. But whenever I'm in moments like that, I try to remember that if I have a problem, if everyone's the one with the problem, I'm probably the one with the problem. If I every communication that I get into with every single person or every group, there's always some situation that makes me want to go home and spend time with my dogs rather than being out here talking to these people. I'm probably the problem with the problem. I probably need to figure out why am I so isolated? Why is it such a challenge for me to deal with these people or let them affect my energy or my mood? It's really hard, dude.
Mastering ourselves is very, very difficult. I think that's why we're all here.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out how to, navigate this crazy world that we're in.
Yes, sir. And empathy, what it is you're picking up on people's emotions. You're trying to relate to their sense of frustration or sadness or happiness or whatever it is. And when you're in a group of people, it could be such a tug and pull, especially for introverted people, because this person over here is happy, this person over here is mad, and you're caught in between the middle of it. And it makes it worse. More people that are. Yeah, 100%. Yep.
I think also
only sociopaths don't feel this.
Go ahead, Jared.
But a lot of people don't change. Like there's guys my age and older, like say around still out drinking and going to the bar and everything else, and I'm like, no, that was me in my 30s. I've outgrown that.
You gotta grow up.
And they're getting drunk and loud, and it's just like, no, I'm not drinking. This isn't fun for me. So, and I'm not saying like, oh, don't drink. I'm just saying, that's just not for me. And that's how a lot of people around here are. So I'm not, not interested.
I felt that way this weekend.
Yeah.
It was a big group of people at this campground, and some of them are drinking, and some of them are, everybody has their, vice of choice. And I'm just like, nah, you guys go ahead. I'm good.
Yep.
I've got my cannabis, and I had my small dose of mushrooms. I'm good. I'm happy. I'm in a good place. No reason to add more to it or make it more complicated. There's already a lot happening here, and I don't need to add alcohol to that.
Yep.
But I think I came to the conclusion over the weekend. I was like, I don't really need it. I'm good.
Yep. That's what Maya Matsumoto was talking about, the book Five Rings, to abstain from things that give us pleasure for that exact reason, which I'm not a full believer in. I think that if you want to go out and drink and have a good time on the weekends, sure, that's fine. But if you need it, that's a different story. And you can feel whenever that's the case, right? And sometimes it's like, I would have a way better time if I drink, but I'm not going to drink, and I'm going to force myself to having an even better time than if I drink. And I catch myself doing that a lot. Mountain Taro was really like that. I could drink shots and hang around the campfire and have a really good time, but I could probably have a better time if I didn't drink, because now I'm not just at the whim of, being drunk. I'm actually focusing my energy and my mind on how to be positive in a negative situation. And there's so many Hindu people that talk about the idea of, if you can't just sit next to a tree on a sunny day and be happy, then you got deep problems. Just sit alone and be with yourself, sober.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And with sometimes, obviously addiction works that way. We get so caught up in doing our little things that especially within the psychedelic community, I see this a lot, because people attribute it to being psychedelics. They seem like there's no harm in it. But, that MDMA or DMT or mushrooms, they feel really good. So we lean on it. I talked about this with cannabis on the show when we first started doing Mystic Journeys. And someone on YouTube described this to me, and I never forgot it. Smoking cannabis is like a mother's bosom, right? It's nice, it's warm, it's comforting, it's nourishing, it's everything that we need as human beings. So we fall into it and we go, oh, I want more and more and more of it. But then when we try to go off and handle our day without it, we're so helpless, we don't know how to act, right? So it's really important to balance that thing and remember, why are we doing this? Do we have intention behind what we're doing, or are we just doing it? It's really important.
Yeah, I don't think
it's the reason why nicotine is so addictive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's, weed isn't a maintenance drug, I don't think, because, when I quit, it, everything that I was smoking for was still there. It was just masking it,
Mm-hmm.
and, I think like you're saying, have a right intention when you do it. And, that one thing that I liked about it is something you can enjoy, and you're not going to feel it the next morning. Mushrooms, you take that sacrament, and what are you going to have? Either an afterglow the next morning or a reflection, right? You can have that
Yes, sir.
time. So it's not going to be like puking your guts out in the toilet and a banging headache and everything else, and you fell
Yes,
down
sir.
10 times last night and you got bruises, and that doesn't happen with for most people, I'll say,
Yeah.
you don't have that experience with the sacrament that you do with alcohol.
Definitely. It is exactly what Musashi talked about in the Book of Five Rings with intention. It is cutting the enemy through to the enemy fully and making sure that you're doing the job that you want to do. And a lot of people, it's hard to swallow because it involves death and cutting someone, but it's no matter what you do, even if it's the hardest thing that you can imagine that you would have to do, you have to do it with full intent and follow all the way through with it. And what he talked about in the Book of Five Rings that we haven't touched on and got to yet is that you should visualize it in your head as if you've already done it, exactly step for step how you're going to do it, and then do it that exact way. And if it differs from any way that you've pre-planned, that you need to hone in your strategy. Cheers. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, we can see you guys' comments popping by. Thank you guys for joining in with us so much. You guys know where to get us. If you need anything, reach out to mysticjourneyschurch.org. We're on Instagram, we're on Discord, Facebook, X, all our socials. You can reach out. It's all Mystic Journeys Church. Thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions about mycology and stuff like that, you guys always know you can ask. As long as Nerdy's here to give a little bit of a better insight than us. Yeah, guys, just ask away. We can answer basic questions.
What's that, Dean?
Go ahead.
Is there a mushroom for Nerdy tonight?
I haven't picked one out, but I told him I'd look for one. So you guys go ahead and chat for a minute and let me look around.
All right, let's talk
I
about
think I have one in my head.
Well, over the weekend, we found several mushrooms. We can talk about that for a little bit. The mushroom I found the most, it's called Trichaptum biform, or it's Trichaptum for sure. It's a purple pore bracket. So it's got like a really, really, really white top. It looks kind of like turkey tail, but it's only been like sun bleached or something. That's just the way it looks. And almost all the mushrooms we were finding up there were super duper dry. But on the underside, it's like got like a purple pores, and I love finding it, but I found way too much of it, and I was really getting tired of it. I was like, oh, there it is again. That's more Trichaptum biform. Dang purple pore brackets again.
It's important to remember what I was saying, though, man. I think that just because the mushrooms are different, like obviously it's a mushroom here and a mushroom 10 feet down the trail, I'm under the assumption that these mushrooms could have different levels of compounds or even different compounds from tree to tree or mushroom batch to mushroom batch. Just like how psilocybin mushrooms are no different.
So there's the.
Tons of them.
I can show it off. I'm gonna turn down
The
my
glare.
brightness. See if I can turn
I
down the
saw it a
brightness
little
here.
bit on the side. Yeah.
Let's see.
Okay, this is interesting here.
So this looks like turkey tail. It's hard to see. I don't want to. Oh, we found this really, really cute fungus beetle. That was cool. Do you see? I thought it was really neat that the black spots are actually divots. You see, you can actually totally see the divots there. The little blue fungus beetle. I love those guys. They're so neat. You can see how blue that thing is. It's like my shirt. Let me see what else I got pictures of from mushrooms. I found a lot of conifer maize gills. You can use that for dyeing. So everybody was like, I was like, I need more conifer maize gills. So everybody kept finding it and bringing it to me. So I got a decent amount. So maybe I can make a, oh, look at that leaf. So maybe I can make some like yellow tie dye and stuff. Oh, we found some really cool cups, like jelly cups.
Yep. Some
I liked these guys a lot. That was a nice one. It was something a little bit different. We found that one in one single location. I collected that one the day we left.
some bird's nest fungus.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here's some of the purple pore, so you can really see how purple that is. It's not really showing up in the lighting's messing it up. I can't. But yeah, I found a lot of really neat stuff out there. A lot of pretty flowers. I thought I found this. Here's some of that conifer maize gill. It's like really yellow. So I really want to get some extracts out of it.
We did get a little bit of rain Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm. We found a bunch of Fomitopsis. So possibly some Ganoderma. I found these mystery mushrooms. Here they are in my jar. I don't know what they are. I just got them dried out, and I'm going to be sending them in for some DNA sequencing. They're really, really pretty. I love these
Very
ones. Cool. But they were really, really tiny, and they were growing all over these stumps out there.
Okay. Just a second here. I'm finding something interesting because I looked up a state and the mushroom and it gave me morel again. I was like, well, that's interesting, but how many states are like morel? Because again, like we talked about, yeah, because there's no official state of North Carolina. The state that I looked up was Indiana. But it says here that the current state mushrooms are California, Colorado, Illinois, Minnesota, Oregon, Texas, Utah, and Vermont. But the proposed state mushrooms are Massachusetts, Missouri, New York, and Washington. So I guess we'll just go through this list here. But we will start with Colorado and we'll go back to California and then work our way down.
Agaricus julius.
Yes, sir. You already know this one right off the bat.
Yeah.
Can you tell us anything funny about it or special about it?
So Agaricus julius, previous to, I don't remember what date, but it's not that long ago. They used to think it was the same as, what was it? The other one called that we don't have here. Let me look up the name. Agaricus.
Oh, these are different ones. Sorry.
Good.
This is the mushroom. And yeah, we do plan on doing some foraging at the Mush Fest this year.
So we used to think that it was Agaricus augustus, and that's what we used to call it here in Colorado. So Agaricus augustus grows where Derek is at. On the East Coast, you might find this mushroom, and it associates with, I think, conifers, certain kinds of conifers. I don't know which ones in your area, but when they're little, they're very, very boxy. Your version, the Agaricus augustus, and our version, it doesn't have that boxiness when it's little, and it associates with ponderosa pine, which you guys don't have there. I think you have a different pine, that like red pine or something like that.
White pines.
White
pine. Is that a two needle conifer?
No.
Or like, I know
She's
like
got shorter
pines have like
leaves.
certain amount of needles. That's how you can't tell them
Yeah,
apart.
it's just got shorter ones.
And certain mushrooms
Never cluster that.
prefer like trees with certain numbers of needles. I think that was kind of cool.
Wow.
But
I wonder if that's weird. Wow.
Agaricus julius became the state mushroom in 2023. Greg Sanchez and several other people who I've met. I think I've met almost the entire team except for the high school students that were involved. Greg Sanchez, he's a high school teacher, and he had his students involved in getting the mushroom pushed through the state legislature. So because he was using his class as leverage, like it's an educational experience, guys. Come on, push it through.
Wow. So why do you think this one to be?
I'm not so sure, but it's a pretty mushroom. It really is. It's a pretty
classic
agaricus. It's like it's really large, and it's just a really nice gourmet mushroom. And as far as I know, nobody's cultivating it yet. Some of my friends are thinking about trying to, but they're not sure how they want to approach it yet. And I'm like, guys, just clone it. Just find it and clone it. Just don't overcomplicate this. Try to grow it like a regular agaricus. See if it works.
Yeah. Right on. What's the benefit? Are we doing fruit or medicine? What are we doing here?
It's food. Just a gourmet agaricus mushroom. It's the cousin of the button mushrooms you buy in the store.
Yes, right.
But one of the fun things why they named it the Agaricus Julius instead of Agaricus Augustus is they're calling it the emperor that was formerly known as the prince. So Agaricus Augustus was known as the prince, and this one's known as the emperor. So when they were proposing this in front of the legislator, like all of the legislators kept getting up and like quoting Prince songs. And they were having a good time with this one, and it's not very often that the legislators get to have fun,
Right. Yep. Because it's so much like tin shit usually.
Yep. Quoting Prince.
Yeah.
Is it going to sporulate like it's 1999?
Is that what they said, dude? They're doing shit like that, really? Like, we're gonna have this shit popping off, dude.
But so in 2 weeks, I'm going to be going to Lost Creek Wilderness. So if anyone's in Colorado and they want to join me, reach out. I'm planning it for, let's see, so the June 26th through the 28th. Anyone's in Colorado wants to go on an awesome mushroom hunting trip in the woods and camp for a few nights. We'll go check out the cave, and we'll see some miner cabins and all that stuff.
He says in the woods as if there's another place you can go hunt mushrooms.
Yeah, but that's my favorite place. And I found some really special mushrooms there. And I'd like to try to find more.
Do you mean like in the sense of like desert or different climates, what you're referring to?
Yeah. There's just different mushrooms in every climate, even in deserts.
Yeah.
You just got to know when and where to look.
That would be really cool. Right. Yeah. Because surely if there's plants that can survive out in the desert, then there's got to be mushrooms out there for sure.
What part of the state? It's just on the other side of the Front Range from Colorado Springs. It's
Great question here.
Give you a better.
Whenever you get a second, go ahead and do what you're doing, and then we'll answer this question here.
Let me look at a map. It is in the Pike San Isabel National Forest, and we were in the San Isabel National Forest. So we were in like the most furthest part of this national forest over the weekend. But this is way closer to Denver, and it's like an hour, maybe like I don't know how long it is, but it's much closer than many of these other hunting places we've been going to lately. But it's also way more wild and way more diverse, and I love it. Like raspberries, all sorts of cool things out there.
Right.
I love foraging and caves and historic buildings.
Cool.
Love it.
We got a question here from Mello. It says, how much space does mycelium need to grow as much mushrooms as possible?
It depends on the mushroom you're wanting to grow. I would just say what space. It really depends on how much space you have. and where you're growing it. If you're growing it outdoors, it's as big as a bed as you want to make it.
Right. So let me ask this question backwards. I think it'll give us a little bit more of a better answer. What's the smallest area you could grow one mushroom on? Could it be the size of a quarter of mycelium? Could it be even less?
I could probably grow mushrooms out of a little tiny jar like this. If
How
I
many
really,
you think?
really wanted to.
3 or 4? 3 or 4 mushrooms, maybe?
Smaller container generally means smaller mushrooms, but
So you'll probably get several. They'll just be really
yeah,
tiny.
you'll probably get a few smaller mushrooms coming off the top.
So cute.
They might even get like that big, maybe. But it depends.
But obviously,
It
there's
really
a
depends.
point where you can go really big and your mushrooms only get so big.
I have mushrooms growing this big in the bag just because they're getting old. And I'm like, I just need to
Wow.
get yeah, here I'll
Yeah.
say.
Kind of like be a little bit discreet with it because YouTube hates us, man. Yeah, I think you're good right there. Yeah, we can see what you're talking about. Cool.
But I need to. I'll harvest it and then I'll put it to bulk and I'll put it in the tub and I'll get more mushrooms out of it.
Cool.
You don't need much. That's just a little tiny bag. It's only a space this big, and it's filling up the whole thing, the whole area where the air was. It says full of mushrooms. It's ridiculous. And that's
What tree is that?
Ochroceusa substrata.
Okay, cool.
Substrata, black caps. Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, that's been sitting there for too long.
Before we get out of here, guys, we'll get out of here in several minutes. Minecraft Mondays tonight. Remember, we switched over. If you guys haven't seen us last week, switched over from Movie Night Mondays to Minecraft Mondays and Watch Along Wednesdays. So we'll be doing that. This Wednesday, I believe we'll be watching Harry and the Hendersons, the movie.
Was that your idea, Derek?
I wanted to, yeah.
Go
ahead.
I don't think I saw it when I was a kid, so this might be a new one for me. And
I showed you guys a clip on Instagram, and Derek messaged me. He's like, "We should do that for Movie Night Monday." I'm like, you know what? That's a great idea. Especially as Derek's recommended.
The TV show was good.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think I've ever seen the movie, and this is
Right.
I'm down. I got to watch this.
I'm separated by a couple of generations because I remember my dad used to always talk about this movie growing up as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen it, and I'm familiar with this. I think it'd be really cool to watch the movie.
And yeah, I was talking to Oreo about this over the weekend. She was like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was one of my favorite movies." And I was like, "Okay, I have to watch it now. It's got to be good."
You guys, I don't want to turn this down a dark road really fast, but you may have heard about the recent passing of Oliver Tree. Yeah, he's a musical artist who passed away in a helicopter accident. I believe over this weekend while we were gone. So I was going to cover Soundgarden Audioslave on Thursday, but on HB, riffing with HB, we like to try to do people who passed away recently. So we're to honor Oliver Tree. He's a great musician, a great person too. We're going to honor him on Thursday, and we'll switch Soundgarden to next Thursday, and we'll still keep Tool and Perfect Circle Pucifer for Saturday. Yeah, it's unfortunate. He passed away in a helicopter accident, and comments were kind of saying that we've lost a few people to planes and helicopters and stuff. It's dangerous. So, yeah, he's a great dude and great musician. You guys, if you don't know who I'm speaking about right now, you've definitely heard his music. He has a super large impact on the world around us. I'm a great guy. Someone who's really compassionate and motivated to make art, really dissect it and see what it's all about. I mean, he just released an album. It's unfortunate he's in the middle of touring it. So yeah, we'll be covering him on Riffin for Thursday. Derek, you'll be doing Bible studies tomorrow, correct? Reading Psalms?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Yeah. So you guys come back tomorrow for Derek. Wednesday will be movie night, Harry and the Hendersons, and then we'll do Oliver Tree on Thursday for Riffin.
Sounds like a good week.
Good week. Excited. And then we'll see what's going on Friday. Remember, we're keeping Friend Friday's open, so if you guys want to get on here and shoot some shit with us, fucking let us know. We'll put you on Friday.
Absolutely. I'd love to have a guest.
Santa says she got Discord on her laptop now. Yeah. Even if you guys don't play Minecraft, join us over on Discord after the show, and we'll stream it for you. You can at least watch. It's cool just like sit and chat.
Or just hang out and listen to music, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. We have a music bot in the Discord. We can all take turns playing songs if you want. So yeah, join us, please. It's a nice little community we're trying to build over there. We have several people, you guys who are active in there. We appreciate you guys showing up and being really kind and interested in what we have to post over there. Thank you.
Yeah, and we're doing our best to keep Discord as simple as possible because we know that it's difficult for people to learn a new platform. We could have put so many different bots and different crazy things on here to overcomplicate things, but we did our best not to do that. We're just keeping it simple.
Maybe
if you
later
see
on we'll add
anything-
in some stuff like that. But
maybe, and we'll maybe put it behind a role so that people that are a little more advanced can, get some extra access to some fun games.
Right.
Something like that.
Yep. MysticChurch.org. You guys know where to find us. Zetas are still available for sale. Everybody's really loving the flavors. If you guys try it, let me know what your criticism is, your feedback. If you have any flavors that you want to see, I have flavors until next year, so we'll have to add them into next year's list if you have any ideas. But yeah, I'm excited. In the upcoming months, we have the Bomb Pop flavor, which I'm calling Peace Pop. We'll be having a lemon green tea coming out the next month after that. And the next month after that, we'll be doing a orange black tea. So we'll have a couple tea flavors for you guys, some fruit flavors, some lemonade, some teas. Try to get the whole spectrum
Orange
for
black
you.
tea, that sounds really good.
Yes,
like
sir.
orange.
Very good. Yeah,
Are
man.
you gonna bring bring the flavors back around like next year? Like the Peace Pop, are you gonna bring that back around next summer, or you think you're gonna do something else?
Great question, dude. Thank you for asking that. What my plan is right now, currently, obviously by next year I'll have 12 different flavors, and it'll be hard to keep that many flavors stocked, especially if I'm adding more flavors in. So right now, currently, for the foreseeable future till about December, I'm going to keep all the flavors that I have in stock. We'll see what flavors people like the best. The ones that they don't really like the best, we'll bring them back for special occasions. And the flavors that people love, we'll keep them in all the time. So if Bomb Pop does well enough, we'll keep it as an all year round thing. But if it doesn't, we'll just keep it. The jalapeno lemonades and Bomb Pop is like a summer, springtime thing, and we'll release it at the same time that we release the next year's spring or summer flavors. So we'll just see what you guys like, whatever you guys like the best.
Can we look forward to an eggnog flavor this holiday season?
Great question. Maybe we can. Let me write that down for you. I haven't thought about that. That's a great question because it's funny enough. I love eggnog. I love to make it myself. But really, the issue with these things is, bottling milks and eggs and stuff like that becomes a little bit of a hard thing to do. But it's not something that I'm objective against trying. Anything that I can make sure that is, preserved where it's going to be a good quality product. It's
Like
good. Say again?
Spice would be better for the holidays,
Yeah. So far, one of the holiday flavors that I have, Mela recommended actually, is a chocolate ginger drink. So my way I'm going to do this to be able to make it work good is instead of adding milk, I'm just going to make it a chocolate yoo-hoo drink and then add ginger to it to give it a little bit of spice. So it'd be like kind of like a gingerbread chocolate drink. Cinnamon nutmeg. It's pretty good.
Strawberry
I'm not telling
rhubarb.
you
Mello says strawberry rhubarb. I'm like, heck yeah, strawberry rhubarb.
Yeah. So originally I had strawberry lemonade for next year, but I'm thinking about introducing rhubarb into that. And again, I talked about this on the show. With Zeta, I don't try to assume that something tastes better. I always test it. So if it tastes better, then I'll use that instead of strawberry lemonade, and we'll run with it. I already mentioned that. So like rhubarb has a little bit of a citrus kind of tang to it anyway. So
you can keep the acidity up, which maintains the shelf stableness.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one thing I got to mention to you guys. So Zeta is shelf stable. I've had a bottle that's been sitting on my shelf for over 2 months at this point, and it's still perfectly just as fine as the day it was made. The sugar levels, the citric acid levels, and the way that I pasteurize and sterilize the product before, during, and after, it's a reliable, consistent product that you're going to get every single time. And as I mentioned before, right now we're doing dry weights, which you guys know I hate. But it has to be done this way because I just can't afford to pay for lab testing for every single batch of Zeta that I produce. But eventually I will be able to. And when I am, you guys will be able to know the exact psilocybin percentage for every batch, every bottle. And thank you all so much for your support.
Yep. Yeah, I really appreciate everybody's support. You guys keep us going.
And I have really big news as far as Zeta's concerned too. It's like I hate to showboat and like flash my dick around, but Zeta will be going inside of a store for the first time. We've talked about colonizing Colorado several times on the show. Nerdy works with Chris, who owns the store. He offered me to be able to put him in his store, so we're gonna work a couple things out and make sure we have Zeta presentable and ready to go, and we're gonna try to put it in the store for you guys here in Colorado. And look for it soon all around the world.
Maybe
At least
not
all
around the
America.
world, but
Yeah, it's all around America for sure. Yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
So I'm very proud of. The way I look at this is like it's like having a baby, right? It's like that kid's mine, but it has its own life. It's kind of like taking its over its own life at this point. So Zeta really is doing its own things out of my control at this point. All I can do is just send it in the right direction and let it do its thing. I'm getting really good feedback. It makes me really proud because people taste it and they go, "Wow, this is a perfect lemonade." HB. I'm like, "Yeah, of course it is," because I made sure it was perfect before I give it to
did
anyone.
that a lot over the weekend.
It's like, "Oh, this is perfect." Like, yes, it is, because I tried one for like 1-to-1 lemon and lime, and that wasn't good. So I tried 1-to-2, and that wasn't good. So I tried 2-to-1, and that was good. So it's all about how you really take pride and honor in what you're doing, make the best product. And it doesn't involve money. And I haven't made a single dollar off of Zeta, and I don't really care to make a dollar off of it. Right now, what I care to do is introduce people to a product that they love and enjoy. Thank y'all for asking. Again,
Mello's
criticism is
asking you.
important.
She says,
Mhm.
"HB, how'd you come up with the name? It's some interesting.
It has some meaning.
Right.
Yes, it does have some meaning. To me, it came about because I'm into UFOs. I love like studying about them, and you guys may know about how one of the theories about the gray aliens, if they're even real, which you don't know, they come from this Zeta Reticula star system. One of the earliest stories of Betty and Barney Hill. Whenever they were abducted, she claimed that she had a map of the Zeta Reticula star system downloaded into her head. And I thought to myself, I'm like, what? Because I was trying to figure out a cool name. I already had the idea of what Zeta was before it had a name, and I wanted to put a name to it. And I sat there and thought about it for a while, and I wanted it to have a space theme because that's kind of my vibe. So I ended up landing on Zeta. Zeta has a little bit of like human roots. Obviously, it's a Greek Roman number, but it's the Zeta Reticular star system is where it really comes from. That's what the name Zeta is for, and that's the whole idea. You drink Zeta and go to Zeta. But so far, the logo or motto for Zeta is a new way to trip, a better way. And I'm kind of happy with that because it is a new way to trip. It's a better way to trip, in my opinion, at least. Everybody has their own opinions, but it's something I've been trying to get people to do is to incrementally dose instead of just drinking a drink that has 2 grams in it and then be done. What you want to do is drink a drink that has a 1/4 gram in it, sit, let it affect you, drink another one, just like we do with cannabis or just like we do with coffee or just like we do with beer. We don't drink what we're going to drink immediately. We drink it throughout the night. Like you don't sit there and smoke 4 blunts at once. You smoke one. You might even stop it halfway and be like, that's good. Lighten up again. So that's really, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier about intent and respect for the medicine instead of just cramming it in your mouth. And you guys know I hate grams. I go off on a rant here, but
I'm a big preacher on that.
100%.
Smaller, start low, and don't overdo it. You don't need a big dose. Most people like,
The
are like,
grams are
oh, I
important.
took 15 grams and all. Like, no, man, just keep it low. Take 2. You know, don't hurt. Don't do that to yourself. You don't need to be that uncomfortable. But some people, if you want to do it, it's best for you, and you have personal
Right.
autonomy. Have at it, but
Sure.
I think I like to tell people to try to be more responsible with their dosing, especially if you're going to be out with a group of people out in the woods. Have small doses and
some young kid. Oh,
wait
I
an
hear-
hour.
Here, let me play a clip that's kind of funny on this.
Okay.
It's your first time at a festival, some young kid. Oh, I hear mushrooms are pretty cool. How much should I do? Oh, you say 5 grams is a heroic dose? Well, I've always considered myself to be a bit of a hero. And then you find out in a hurry that being half of a hero would have been plenty.
Be responsible. That's what I'm saying.
Super.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be
And
responsible.
that's why I hate grams. And if I had anything to do with it, we would never speak about dosing psilocybin in terms of grams. It's just kind of the easiest way to go about it. Like, how much does this weigh? But the
Well,
psilocybin shit,
I
that
think
shit could be
people
anything.
should weigh their mushrooms. You should definitely have a scale and know how potent your strain is and dose appropriately.
Yeah, start low,
but
go slow, that kind of whole ordeal.
I know plenty of people that just take a little piece of mushroom and eat it like a little bit here and there, like HB. But you
Yeah.
know, everybody doses differently. But I'm a
Yeah.
proponent of be responsible, keep low and slow.
Yeah,
You'll be
man.
doing great.
Love it. Yep, I love it. Yep. And obviously, cannabis is way different than magic mushrooms. But when I'm smoking cannabis, I don't weigh out my mushroom or my cannabis rather. I just ingest until I'm okay, and then I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with having a drink, right? Just drink until I'm okay, and then I'm done. I don't really
Right.
think about, this is the amount I'm going to drink this bottle right here, this whole thing. Like, no. Yeah, I just drink till I'm content. And also, the other point, my final point here, because I still ran on this shit, but it's the thing with Tylenol is that you don't weigh Tylenol by a pill or a gram or whatever. You do it by milligrams. 500 milligrams of Tylenol, everyone understands in their head. If I said a gram of Tylenol, you wouldn't understand if that was enough to kill you or not.
Well, it's a
Really?
completely different drug too. Every drug's different,
Exactly right.
measured in
Exactly
different measurements.
Yeah, man. It starts to
But-
get really hard. The only benefit to psilocybin is obviously you cannot die
like-
from it. So even if you feel like you're going to die, you're taking 5 grams, you'll be okay.
It's like
always
comparing.
important.
It's like saying taking a gram of acid is the same as taking a gram of mushrooms. No way.
Yeah.
It's like it's microns, isn't it? I don't know what you call it. Is it like or
Yeah, but that being said, if 500 milligrams of Tylenol is one pill, and that's a standard dose, 1,000 milligrams, which is a gram, won't kill you.
Mm.
Yeah, that's my whole point. But yeah, you make a great point as well. It's like hard to, especially whenever you're talking about things that are microdoses or micrograms rather.
It's like
Like
saying,
was-
okay, do you have psilocybe cubensis or do you have psilocybe? I mean, Paniola cyanescens. That's completely different thing we're talking about. That's like 1 versus 5, completely different.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of people say that they don't recommend over a gram of pan-cyan, or especially for a beginner, they recommend only a half a gram, which
I
is
had
kind of
half
crazy.
a gram, and I was like, it was like 3 grams. It was crazy.
Wow,
I was like,
it's
wow,
crazy, man.
did not expect that.
It's crazy.
And you can fit a half a gram in a little tiny, like a size 00.
Right, enough to send somebody to the moon. It's crazy, dude.
Sam was down
Where's
the
he
road
at?
from like an hour from me today, and he
Mhm.
visited an amusement park. And I don't know how, but he got a pro tip, and he went today instead of Saturday, Sunday, because if you guys ever visit amusement parks on the weekend, they are brutal. And
Yeah.
when my kids were little, I used to ask for Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday off, and I didn't mind working the weekend.
Mhm.
In the summertime, we'd have a shift bid, and I'd ask for those weekdays off. We get season pass and we go to the amusement park, and that was the most enjoyable. If you try going during the weekend, it's not so fun because you spend so much time in line, and the lines get long. Like, imagine waiting 2 hours to go on a roller coaster that's not even a minute and 40 seconds, and then you want to sit in the front. Well, that ain't going to happen. You're just going to get whatever seat, so I think that's really awesome. And I wish we could have hooked up. I didn't realize that. I guess I didn't read the message so well. I had, but would have been awesome to hang out with Sam. He wrote in the comments he's heading to Virginia tomorrow. So
That
Cool.
really is a pro
Be
tip.
safe out there, man.
yeah,
That's such a good idea. Work on the weekends. Enjoy your weekdays when everyone else is at work. That's so
Yeah.
smart.
yep.
And
Yeah,
that can
you
beat
know, Mel.
and that can
Go
beat
ahead.
everybody to the mushrooms on a Wednesday.
Pick them all before they get there.
Yep,
Well, I
exactly.
mean,
Yeah.
even just the parks. If you go to the trailhead, the parking lot on Saturdays and Sundays, it's packed.
It's
But
good
on
luck.
the weekday, you drive by when you're going to work or whatever, and there's like 2 cars there, and you're like, man,
Mhm.
not driving around
Whole place
trying
to
to find.
myself.
Yeah, yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
LSD now, that's a different story. When I tried, my first psychedelic was LSD, and I was doing it for a little while before I ever tried mushrooms. And when I tried mushrooms, I was really let down because of how weak they were compared to LSD. But I do agree with your sentiment. I have not tried pain, cyans, but a lot of the stronger strains of mushrooms that I've tried, like the crinkle brain or enigma, that people are supposed to, they say is supposed to be 3 to 4 times stronger than psilocybin. I found that to not be the case. But again, to my point, the dangerous thing is that somebody might have enigma out there that's 4 times stronger because somebody has had that enigma that's tested that strong.
Yeah.
So never underestimate your ability. You're like, you know what? I tried a gram of enigma before and it was weak, so I'm going to try 2 grams of this enigma this time, and then it's 4 times stronger than you were expecting. So every time I get a new batch of mushrooms or a new strain, I test it by 0.5 gram or less. No more, no less.
That's actually good advice. Yeah. Test the waters.
Not even a gram. Because even a gram, you'll be taking a gram of some really strong mushrooms, and it's just like, oh man, now I'm on the verge of ego death.
And to say something about the 0.5 gram is what I consider like a museum dose. I personally have been to Meow Wolf on a 0.5 gram, and at times it was a little intense. So 0.5 gram doesn't sound like a lot, but you can make a fool of yourself in public on a 0.5 gram, even at the museum.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, like 0.5 gram or less, even like like personally, I start to feel it and notice it around 200 milligrams, which is like 0.2 grams instead of 0.5.
Okay, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Based on that, I would argue that my tolerance is slightly higher than yours. I can feel mine at about 0.25 gram, and then for a museum dose for me is 1 gram, maybe just under. 1 gram, I can walk around and be fine. Any more than that, I'm like, yeah, I want to go lay down on the couch and watch a movie or something, What about you, Derek?
I don't want to say.
Okay.
Derek's like, I could eat 3 grams and be fine, which is okay, dude. I mean, if that's the way your brain works,
I feel it in the legs. Like when I start feeling like I have beer legs, sea legs kind of loosened up and kind of my walk is feeling a little different, but sometimes I will power through if I get that sideways feeling, it's like, oh, this is all body. That's telling me if I want everything else, I got to take more.
It's a weird way to look at it. I never thought about it that way.
Stuck there, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't like that feeling. That
halfway there feeling, like stuck halfway in the mud, but not really quite underneath the water.
Yeah, you just feel sideways, like it just feels off, and you can't. It's not working on your brain. It feels like it's working on your body, and it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
But
it's interesting, dude.
Yeah,
Mr. D got Viking blood. It'll be hard to knock out, Mela said.
Little lemon tech on that, and it'll get you over that hump. For me, anyways.
Wow, cool.
I also think that part of my acting silly in public at Meow Wolf was the fact that like Meow Wolf not on a 0.5 gram, you feel like you're on a 0.5 gram. Even in no mushrooms, you feel like, well, this place is trippy as fuck. Oh my god, what the fuck is that? The place is a trip. It's so fun. I love that place. I want to go back.
That is the story of my life. He says here, Derek, if you were down here longer, I would have loved to meet up with you, Derek. My family was kind of like, meet up with your friends online, ? I'm like, wait, you don't get it. Story of my life, dude.
Yeah.
Especially for the older generation, they don't really understand online connections. It's a little different for them, man.
First time meeting members of the T Crew was life-changing for me. It really was.
Yeah.
It's been like that for you guys. Nerdy and Oreo and several other Craze people that I've met through this community.
Yep, we're building a big family here. Really like what we're building. I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, at this point, I don't think any of us are really strangers. We've been gathering together every morning or every day so long.
Yeah.
I think we spend a lot of time more together than, I see my brother a couple times a year. That's more time with you guys than I do with him, really. You know, at this point. So
So true.
It's
So
why we
true.
offer for people to come up on Fridays, because it's more of like us. Like I said, we're not preaching at you. Then you can come up here and you can be like part of the conversation and talk with us, because we talked about this over the weekend. How we like to lead here is not the way to people typically lead. We don't stand in the front of the classroom and tell you guys what to do or how to do it. We lead with you, next to you, in seats next to you. Like, hey, maybe try this. This works. It worked for me. You know, that's way more of a type of leader that we are. So if you get here on Friday and have a conversation with us, you're more involved with it. You can throw your opinions out when you have a different opinion about this. Agree to disagree at the end of the day.
yeah, because what works for me might not work for you. So that's I try not to
Yeah,
say,
man.
you know, it was you, you know, but if it
Yes.
were me, you know, or I,
And we're perfect. We are perfect. We're perfect human beings, but we still are working on ourselves. We're still trying to learn along the way.
We're perfectly imperfect, is what I like to say.
Perfectly imperfect, Nerdy. You said it, man. We don't claim to be prophets or messiahs or martyrs. We are just people out here trying to learn like y'all. And we thank y'all for your support. You guys know where the website is? Got any
Yeah.
final questions before we get out of here? Let us know. Be just over on Discord in a bit for Minecraft. And I think that's all. So I'll be back tomorrow for Derek's Bible studies. He's doing Psalms. Refresh us on what numbers, buddy?
I'm not sure yet. I think we're gonna do 5, at least 3.
Okay.
We're 2.
Exactly. I think, yeah.
Sanam, yes.
Cool.
T-shirt purchases. I was actually the guy who's helping with the T-shirts was at the camping trip with us. So I'm getting ASAP. I know. ADHD too. I'm trying. I will get it done ASAP. But I want to get these T-shirts up and running as soon as I can.
All right, boys. Let's wrap this shit up. You all have a good night. What's the one more time?
We're gonna start at Psalm 54 tomorrow. We're up to 54 now. Yeah.
Perfect.
Now,
Yeah, you guys be back
I'll be there, D.
9 p.m. EST. We'll see you there, man. See you guys later. Make sure to have a good rest of your night. But I think that's all. Bye, everyone.
Have a good night. Enjoy your night.
Oh yeah,
So-
watch the intro as well. Make sure you watch the intro on the way out.